Hello again. So today we're finishing up the false floor. I kind of offered everything up, nothing is fully bolted down, there's just a couple of things there to keep it in place. So I can work out exactly how much space I have and what fittings to use and where to put everything and so on. I had kind of an idea in my head and I put it into practice today just to see how it all fits. So tank will be there, you can see the little 1/4 inch drain plug there. So the way it works, or the way I have it set up at the underneath at least anyway, I'll just move that, is the drain that you see there comes down, it's got a little bit of room in it there, so it's not a really aggressive bend. Comes out here into the pressure relief valve. They say you have to keep it any angle above horizontal, so that should be fine. It's just cable tied there because if I ever do need to, whenever I'm releasing it, I can just use the little valve here. That obviously comes out the other side of the T-piece and down. So once that's in the car, the little valve there will just kind of sit loose in the boot. It's not going to be an issue. The other thing I've mounted is the water trap. They say that let's put this down, might be a bit easier to see. Mounted the water trap there, so it will come out of this fitting here. I'll probably drill a hole there, or I might straight into that. I haven't quite worked that out yet, but either way, come along underneath the boot floor and into the fitting there, into that guy. So I've worked out since that they are swivel fittings, so I could turn it, let me lift that back up, so I could turn the fitting, I could turn it, you know, I could angle it down a bit more, whatever's easiest to make it fit in place anyway. And then on the other side of that, so I'll have the little drain here and I'll just run that to wherever. Another piece will come out of here, probably cable tied onto that or just something so it's a bit easier. Now the manifold will sit roughly kind of there, about there give or take. You know, I haven't drilled the holes or anything yet because I haven't got the stand. So the line will come out of here, probably just travel across here and up into the manifold. So the air will come out of the tank, down into the water trap, back up into the manifold. So any water that does come out of the tank from the compressor will just drain out of this little guy here. So the next thing now, I've offered it up into the car and it fits pretty well. I might have to notch it a little bit, say maybe there or something for the lines on the rear. I haven't quite figured that out yet, but it's not that big of a deal to work it out. So next then is to pull all of this stuff off and figure out what I'm going to do carpeting wise, because I have, as I said before, I have a spare OE carpet. It's in a box there somewhere. I have the original boot carpet is there. I've got a spare one as well, so I'm not sure whether I'll use the one that I had, the factory one, and try and figure out exactly where all these holes are for all the little fittings and the lines and stuff, and try and like punch or cut holes in the carpet or something, or else I'll use the original carpet and just fold it back on itself and then use the spare carpet and cover that and just, you know, trim it down there or something. So effectively it'll be two pieces. I haven't worked that out yet, but that's what I'm going to start at now. I've offered up the carpet. That's the one that came in the car. It's pretty clean. The spare one I had is actually, it's pretty grubby, but I'll throw it in the washing machine. But at least I have a spare if I make a mistake on this one. So I think it'll be okay. So what I'm going to do now is pull it back out. I've removed that bottom piece there. That would have been in the way for the false floor. So I'm going to pull this piece back out, put in those side panels that I forgot about for there and there that caused me trouble a while ago. Offer them up and see, and hopefully I should be able to, as I said, either, I don't think you can really drill carpet, but I might be able to put enough of a slit just to get bolts through, or to even give me some kind of mark and then get hole punches or something like that. But we'll figure it out anyway. It shouldn't be too big of a deal. So pull out the carpet, throw in them side panels and offer it back up. Right, a few things have changed in the plan. It's the following day from what you've just seen. But when I was trying to put to kind of essentially put it all back together, as I mentioned, I've put back in those side panel trims, and then I was offering up the boot build. When I put in the side panel pieces, I'll show you now, hang on. There was just way too sharp of an angle on the rear lines for where they go through the body. You can't see that there. Where you would have seen already where they go through the body, for them to bend and actually come back here to a place where I can, say, shoot it back out under the carpet there, or under the side panel there. just the angle was way too extreme, and it was pushing that out, and it just didn't sit right. And the 3/8 line is, I didn't really realize or anticipate this, it's so fucking hard to work with in, like, if you're trying to put any sort of a sharp radius on it at all, like even 90 degrees or less even, it's very, very hard to work with. So what I've decided to do, I really didn't want to do it, but the best option is drill holes in the paddles and just bring them, they'll come straight. Now you'll never really see it behind the tank anyway, but the front lines will still come in. As you can see, they're just coming from the corners, and they'll come straight back down and go up through the floor into the manifold. But with that in mind, it was just a lot more awkward, so that kind of delayed the whole process of even trying to figure out the way the carpet would sit. But for the time being, just because I was getting cross yesterday at it, I just put in some of them fittings, put in the 2 little plugs. If anyone knows about NPT fittings, like, I know it's tapered so you'll never get it to bottom out in the threads, but I would have thought they'd go in a little bit further than that. But you can see there's quite a bit of thread sticking out of it, but I guess once it seals, it seals. But anyway, as I was saying, the 3/8 is really hard to work with. So what I tried today, as you would have seen also, I had the water trap mounted there, but the angle of the fitting coming down that way was just way too, again, the pipe just would not bend. There's just so much tension in that line, whereas the bit of 1/4 inch there for the drain and the fill valve is just so much easier to work with. I almost last night just gutted the whole thing, bought a roll of 1/4 inch, a bunch of reducers, and just reran the whole thing, but we'll struggle on, I suppose. But anyway, so that piece there, I used a bit of heat to get somewhat of a bend there. I know I shouldn't, it's already kinked a little bit and shouldn't really be heating up that kind of stuff, but I'm sure it'll be okay. I've seen people do worse methods with it. So the next, I guess, step is to wait for, I'm genuinely really am at a kind of standstill now, because I've ordered 1/8 NPT to 3/8 PTC fitting to sit into this side of the water trap, so the line can just go straight in instead of it trying to come like down and then bend back up into the water trap. So I ordered a couple of those, one for that side of the water trap. I'll have another one come back down here and into the manifold there, as I said already. But for the time being, I once again am at kind of a a bit of a standstill. So it's just very disappointing that the 3/8 was so hard to work with. Now it'll be worth it, but just a pain in the ass, you know. So we'll see now once all the manifold, I've been talking about this manifold stand for like 4 episodes now, but my buddy Dara that was making it, he was off sick all last week and stuff, and I'm not in a massive hurry for it, but still it is irritating to have to wait for things. As I said before, I'm not a very patient person, but we'll carry on anyway. When stuff arrives, hopefully in the coming week or so. Another thing I will note while I'm here, if by any chance you've been watching along doing this on your own car, which I doubt, but you never know, is the issue with the front, with the shock forks. If you remember, I'd seen in the earlier episode, I had noted that they're, you know, it's the same there, it was the appropriate distance, or, you know, shorter, blah blah blah, as you would have seen already. Offered them up to the car, put them on the shocks, tightened up everything, and it turns out that they hit the drive shaft, unfortunately. So it's going to be kind of hard to make out now, but if you can see how kind of crazy of an angle that kind of thins up in there. That's the original cord one, and then that's the integral one. And I even tried to grind that down a bit, because it wasn't rubbing off it by much, but it was enough that it would cause an awful lot of noise and so on. And also, I don't know, I probably would have to throw on one of the cord ones to check, but I don't know, even where it was fouling on the drive shaft, if that was even full lock for the car anyway, or if it was just getting bound up on the fork. But either way, I guess you could grind the hell out of that if you really wanted to, but we're just going to go back to plan A and have a couple of mil cut off there with the bandsaw. It's just one more small delay, but again, it's not a massive deal. The next step, I suppose, I was going to just start messing around with the carpet and all that today, but I'm not going to bother now, because it's cold as a motherfucker again today. So we'll probably leave it at that for now. If the episode ends here, you'll know that nothing else got done. Just back for a quick little update before I go. It's a day or two later, so the issues I talked about the pipe coming out of the side of the compressor and down into the water trap. As I said, I'd gotten the pipe to kind of bend with a bit of heat on it, but like it just, I'm sure it would be fine, but I didn't really like doing it that way. So what I've done also, actually no, that doesn't matter, never mind. So what I've done in the meantime, there's a couple of places in town here that do the PTC fittings. So I went in this morning, I brought a piece of the 3/8 line with me, showed them what I had, which was that guy, 3/8 to the, or not that one in particular, but anyway, I told him I wanted 3/8 to 3/8 push to connect. He's like, yeah, we have them there, we have a couple of them. So I said, just give me the 2 for the time being. So he said they have another branch not too far away. He said they have more if you need them. So I thought, to hell with it, I'll get a bunch of them. So I went down anyway, they didn't have them. So there was another place I tried the other side of town, and they had these guys. So I went in with that, showed it to him. He said, oh yeah, what's it for, blah blah blah. And he said, yeah, we have them, they're over here. And he showed me a wall of fittings. Like, it was, they had everything, every size, shape, all sorts of like Y pieces, T pieces, everything. It was beautiful. I nearly cried. So while I was there, I thought I'm going to get a bunch of those. And then the straight fittings that I had ordered for the water trap, they had those as well. So I've gotten the 2 of those. Now I still have a pair of them ordered from another place, but it'll be fine. They seem to work pretty good. So for the meantime, I'm going to run the water trap onto the underside there with a bunch of 90-degree fittings. It'll make it so much easier instead of trying to bend that pipe. The other thing that I've decided, now that I know these are very readily available, and also to make it even better, I went to school with a dude that worked there, so I got a few pound off them as well. But the availability and price of those now has made me rethink not the entirety of the boot, but definitely how the rear is done. So as you would have just seen, I have the rear line coming through the boot trim piece there. I really don't like that. Now I know there's a hole drilled in it, can't really do much about it, but what I've decided, I'm going to take it out of there. I'm going to either just stick a grommet and a bit of some kind of sealer to keep it in there, or I'll figure something else out just to cover up that hole. It's not a big deal for now. But what I'm going to do instead is come out probably maybe here, roughly there. It's kind of hard to see now because of the shadow, but somewhere that the back seat won't be in the way, or like down there, or can you see it? Yeah, roughly there. So drill through, same idea, grommet through there. Yeah, roughly idea, grommet through there. Put a 90 degrees on it and shoot it down that way underneath the trim panel there, like where I showed a few minutes ago, and then down to the underneath of the floor. And then if I need to, another 90 degrees to bring it up into the manifold, like through the floor and up into the manifold. So it'll make it an awful lot easier. Now yeah, granted, that's more breaks in the line, I guess, but I mean, just for pure simplicity, I might do it that way. And I may also even do the same thing down here, like where that comes out, stick a 90 degrees fitting on that, maybe even the same up here, just so there's less stress on all the lines. I probably won't have to, but because I say that section there will be fine, but that's the plan at least anyway. So I'll stick the water trap stuff piece together, and we'll get a quick little shot of that, and then that'll be it for today, I think. Now that is just beautiful. So comes out of the tank, down there, right into a 90 degrees, straight over into the water trap. Excuse me. It'll come back out that side. Might put a 90 degrees on that still, I don't know yet. Come down to somewhere there is where the holes for the manifold are going to be drilled. It's so much less hassle. So they're now going to be a lifesaver. Yeah, so that's going to do it. Just very pleased now that I've found somewhere local that has all of them, every kind of fitting I could possibly need. I didn't check if they have reducers or anything like that, but I'm sure they do if I ever need it, or even line as well if I start to kind of make a mess of a piece. Like that piece is now essentially a scrap piece. This bit might be okay to use again. But that's going to be it, so I'll see you again soon. Welcome back. I have gotten the manifold stand. I'm going to take a few pictures and stick them in of it without the manifold on it, but that's it. It's pretty cool. Normally I'm not gone on dimples and stuff, but I think it works now. It'll look an awful lot better when it's like prime it and paint it and so on, but I have it offered up onto the entire kind of boot build there. I need to figure out where the how much space it's pretty tight between there and there now, but I've already had it in the car, and the wire loom does come down. Now it'll be fine, it might be, it's not too extreme of a bend on it, but I need to find out what kind of space I have and where to drill the holes for the lines. I'm thinking I could just come straight down and have a bit of a bend on it and just drill 6 holes kind of in that space there, or I could have, say, 1, 2 and 3 come down and go out through, just drill a big hole there and go out through that, and I could do the same with the other 3 there. I'm not quite sure yet, but I think I'd rather have them just 6 individual ones that go straight down. But I'm going to get a scrap piece of pipe and see, as I said before, how much give I can get out of it and how much of an angle I can put on it. Right, so that's it, kind of figured out the lines will come down there. It's pretty close tolerance there, but this isn't fully bolted in yet, and by the time there's kind of a couple of fittings and stuff like that, there's, I mean, a gap is a gap really, but I might put some of that loom cover over just to be on the safe side. I debated trying to move the tank forward just another couple of mil or something, but like, it'll be fine, it's fine. I get the feeling down the line I'm going to end up redoing the whole setup at some point anyway. The last thing that I did, just to make it a bit less of an extreme radius on the pipes or on the airlines, the stand was bolted in here, so I just moved it back 10 mil, and it makes it an awful lot different, or an awful lot easier to get these lines in and out. Other than that, the only difference that might make is the back of it there might foul on the back seat, but it's literally just a cardboard kind of like fascia that's on the back of the seat. But that's pretty much the boot build done, I guess. So obviously, you know, it's got to get carpeted and it's got to get tidied up. There's so many extra kind of holes from making changes. I'm debating I might redo the top piece. Maybe I have some 3 mil board, but if I'm gonna do it at all, it'll be with the 6 mil board. But I don't know, I think it'll be fine for now. So that's gonna be about it for today, or for this episode at least anyway. I have a couple of other things almost finished, and once they're done, you see, they'll all get uploaded, and once everything is done, I'll go through a full kind of run through of everything and how everything is done and plumbed and so on. I know I'm kind of, you know, blasting through it here, but I just want to get it in the car and test it at least anyway. And once that's done, we can do a proper little kind of talk through everything and how it's set up. So that'll be about it, and we'll see you next time.